All right. Well, as you know, my name is Vincent with Outdoor Outreach. I'm a field instructor and also a former Outdoor Outreach participant and leadership program graduate. I've been a part of Outdoor Outreach for about, better part of 11 years now. So yeah, I'm very excited to have you here. Stoked to have you here with us today, Conrad Anker. You're an American rock climber, mountaineer, and author. If you could do me a favor and just give us a little intro about yourself.
Yeah, hello everyone out there. My name is Conrad Anker. I'm here in Bozeman, Montana on the traditional lands of the Silash Kootenai and other Native American tribes. Here is referred to as Valley of the Flowers. So here in June, there's a lot of wildflowers out there. I'm a mountain climber and I like sharing my joy and passion of being outdoors with other people.
Thank you, Conrad. Man, I was born in 95, and I'm pretty sure you're already established as a legend before I was even asked to Willem walking. So as you know, Conrad, Outdoor Outreach is a San Diego-based nonprofit that connects youth to the outdoors as a space for them to build resilience and confidence in their power to make a difference. And today, as a part of June, #Outdoors for All series, we're going to talk about our work, but really in the context of access to the outdoors and why that's so important. We're going to segue in our interview questions now. So in the outdoors, why are the outdoors so important to you? And what benefits do you gain from the outdoors?
Probably the foundation of being outdoors is the being able to communicate with other people that's in a non-confrontational manner. So one part of being outdoors is I have the nature therapy of getting away from our oversubscribed society and being able to enjoy the trees and just sort of take away from the hectic pace that we're in. And then, so that's on a personal level that provides rejuvenation for me. And then the other part of it is, as I began the conversation, was how we communicate with other people. And I think this is a healthy paradigm. So we're not creating a game where we have a field, we have a clock, we have rules, and we have a ball, and eventually half the people playing, whether it's one person or 11 people or 5 people, is going to lose, or 9 people in baseball. 11 football, 9 baseball, 5 basketball, and someone's always going to be a loser, right? And someone's always going to be a loser. But when we go out, we can climb at various grades, and we're there. And the challenge becomes the environment. The heat, the cold, the wind, the rain. And so you have to work together. And that fundamental way in which humans communicate that's the foundation of outdoor outreach. And it's really neat to be part of it in this capacity.
And that's awesome. Thank you for that answer. I've always, for some reason, steered really clear away from team sports and just found myself sinking my teeth into all these, what you would call extreme sports, but focusing on that element, right? To conquer that element as opposed to another team. So that really resonates with me.
I take the extreme out of it because it's just not, I mean, it's overused. So we'll use extreme temperature. So if it gets down to 40 below, that's extreme temperature. Anything less than that's not. But I always refer to it as solo sports. And so the challenge is you and your mind. It's not another group of people. And that's kind of whether it's skateboarding or hiking, climbing, camping, there's that connection we have with other people. It's really special.
That's beautiful. Moving forward, solo. Yep. I like it. All right. So on access, what is the greatest barrier you see to bring young people or under-resourced groups gaining access to the outdoors and outdoor sports?
Yeah, great question. For under-resourced people and especially children to get to outdoors is it's where we need to be, and to get children to be outdoors and to see what a butterfly is and to learn about nature and to be out of a room that is confining and might have a computer game in there or just isn't a healthy environment. So when you get outside, you get to have that step to it. For many of these communities, a lot of it is representation. They don't see people that look like themselves out there climbing mountains. And so for people of color to have mentors that are out there and be like, yeah, this is what we do. And that's really a beautiful start to it.
Awesome. I call myself, a snowboarder. At least put myself up there with the big dogs. And
Yeah.
Ryan invited me to live with him in Salt Lake City for a couple of seasons, and just seeing his representation out there and him lending me a hand, saying, "Come on, come do it." I can say I can probably ride with the big dogs now.
Yeah.
At least a few of them. But that helped me a lot. So thank you for that answer.
Yeah.
Let's see. So the next question: what do you see as the most important reason for introducing youth and providing access to outdoor spaces?
The most important thing?
Yes.
Um,
More important reason for introducing those youth.
the important reason, again, is the manner in which we communicate as humans. So people come away from being outdoors, from my view, is healthier and happier. And people can find that, whether it's playing football or bowling or anything like that. I'm not going to say, oh, you have to be outdoors to find balance and peace and happiness in life, but it just happens to work for you and I, and that's always um, sort of a good thing. And probably the biggest challenge is understanding that being outdoors is accessible, and particularly in San Diego. San Diego County is a sort of interesting bit of uh, data set. Is the most environmentally, biologically diverse county in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you think about going from sea level up into the mountains and all the biozones that goes through, there's really good thing. And with outdoor outreach, really specifically being in San Diego, there's a lot to choose from and to get engaged with in the outdoors, and opening the gate, so to say, and providing transportation there. All those are sort of really healthy, simple ways we can bring people outdoors.
Right, right. Thank you for that. I think, recently when we all kind of were cooped up inside, we've kind of realized that, the outside world is a lot more beneficial than we realize, especially for our mental health, and well-being.
Yeah, and for students, young people, the global pandemic with COVID-19 has been very difficult for them.
Mhm.
Whereas adults, we might be able to say, okay, I'm working, I can put my head down. It for teenagers, they're at this age where they're growing and their bodies are changing, and that affirmation by their peer group and that connectivity, and kind of as you go from middle school to high school, you start identifying who you are and defining yourself. And prior to middle school, you're very much your parents' children. But for the kids that missed out on that due to the last 16 months, there's it weighs on them from a mental health standpoint, but also it's sort of we've missed out on this year of education, and how can we catch up on that?
I agree. I agree. Thank you for that answer, Conrad. So, next question: what message do you have for young people who want to make a difference in their community, but might not know where to start?
Well, knowing that you want to help out is a great start. So give yourself a pat on the back for having the motivation to say, I want to help and give back to other people. And it's not for everyone, but for myself, helping other people is like that's happiness for me. That's self-actualization. Um, I don't need any more material things in life. I'm particular about what I bring into my life in a material sense, and do I really need to use it, and what is the effect of that on the environment and society at large. But so I'm comfortable. Many of us here in the United States are. So what next thing can we do with that? And helping other people out there is a great step. So if any of you are listening in, um, check in with Outdoor Outreach. They've got a place for you to help out and volunteer and be part of the program, and they'd love to see you there. So one, you have the motivation, which is the first step. And when you walk in the door, that team at Outdoor Outreach is going to be all in to help you out.
That's awesome. Couldn't have said it
Yeah.
better. All right, next question. Let's see. I believe this is one of our last ones. What scares you the most right now, but also what brings you the most hope?
What scares me is kind of the divisive nature that we've found our nation in that when I was a kid, it was like, oh, the Cold War was happening. I was born in '62. So it was like, we've got to beat the Soviet Union to the moon. I mean, they were, and it's not good to identify an enemy in that sense, but now there isn't this like, what can we work towards? And it'd be great if a sensible energy platform would be our moonshot for your generation, Vincent. But we're our country's very divided right now, and some people are like, no, I don't want to hear about it. That is renewable energy or social justice, whatever it is. Get out of my space. I don't need to hear about it. We're fine. And so that creates tension and anxiety within where we see our community. But my hope is in your generation, and that so many of the children realize now climate change is a very real thing. I mean, we knew about it when you were born in 1995. And it was in the late 80s that Jim Hansen, the scientist, started talking about it and knowing about it and everything like this. And with each day that we don't get after the working on something that's going to be better for future generations is the day we miss out on it. So, but yeah, I'm happy to be part of this next generation that wants to be the change that's going to make our world equitable for all. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Keep that energy. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, that's it for interview questions. I'm going to go off script. Just kind of ask you some questions of my own.
Yeah.
Any big projects that you have like on the horizon that you can talk about, whether it be leaning towards, climate change and the importance of that, or, outdoor exploration?
I'm 58. In 2016, I had a heart attack at 20,000 feet on a mountain in Nepal. And so I'm not going after the climbs I did in my 20s and 30s, which is fine. I'm happy to be here with this. But I'm on the board of Protect Our Winters. So making climate change something that your generation, Vincent, cares about, giving you the tools, the responsibility, the permission, all these things to talk about it and make it be part of who you are. So kind of working on a neat little project in there where we're using anecdotal history to create climate data sets. And so imagine we have Mauna Kea. Every Tuesday, they measure atmospheric CO2 along atmospheric CO2, ocean acidification, and glacial recession are three like ways that we can measure the temperature of our planet.
Right.
And the Mauna Kea and the ocean acidification, those are done by top level universities with scientists that are specifically trained in that with the tools. But if we look at, say, something like in Kyoto, Japan, where the monastery there has been tracking the blooming of the cherry blossom because it's part of their culture and their ritual and their tradition and their ceremony. And there's like this 500-year data set with it. And if we think about places, say, in the Northeast that have the ice melt out. So everyone would put a quarter in the jar, and then if you put a quarter in the jar, you get to guess the date when the pond melts out. And so having these kind of data sets are really neat, and being able to bring them into to people. And so perhaps maybe outdoor outreach there might be something. You're 21 years into existence, going on year 22. You started in 1999, but wouldn't it be neat if there was like, when do a local, like a dogwood tree, bloom at a certain elevation, or finding like someplace in nature that you could bring a group back and kind of track it, and then use that to help understand the difference between climate and weather.
So you're kind of like just focusing in on all the little stuff that may be overlooked, as far as like the cherry blossoms, like that's data that's been there that we can tap into. That's very cool.
And people can identify with it. When you watch a time lapse of a glacier receding, so like Jim Baylog in the Extreme Ice Survey, and you look at the Columbia Glacier up in Alaska, and it's like watching an ice cream melt on a sidewalk. And so it doesn't, regardless of what language you speak, there's visual information that we can understand with that. And that's pretty, and a big challenge of what we have is getting people to understand. And we are a very marketing driven society. They're associated to brands. I'm wearing one. Outdoor Reach is a brand. Our nation is a brand. And but what can we do to make climate change something that is like, hey, I want to be part of that. I want to tap into it. And that,
Okay.
and the work that Outdoor Outreach does by taking people, particularly youngsters, outdoors, it's a great start to understanding climate.
Yeah. Yeah. Got to have the want to care and, the motivation to, appreciate where we all are and, to preserve it, right?
Yep.
Preserve it. All right. Let's see. What's one of I think your biggest gains personally? I think this might have been covered, but maybe cover it again for me. Like your biggest gain as far as an outdoorsman. I know you said that solitude and kind of like that was kind of like that therapy for you being out there, but I don't know, maybe you can hit on something else or along the same lines.
Yeah, it's where I feel happy. So I was a hyperactive athletic kid, but I played team sports, and then they were like the bullies in the hallway were like just pummeling on me because I was a skinny, scrawny kid. Like, oh, I'm not going to play football. So I got out of that, and then I had my a scouting program, getting outdoors with my parents and things like that really made a huge difference in that. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, shout out to Philip Henderson, who is a native of San Diego, and he's one of my climbing partners. Climbed Denali with him in 2013, and he's from San Diego and is really put his life into the outdoors and has done a great job with it.
That's awesome. Shout out.
Yeah, Philip, we'll get to you.
All right. Where is your favorite ice climbing? I don't know if you want to disclose this. You might.
Oh, yeah. My favorite ice climbing. They're always good places. But here in Montana locally is a great place. Ouray in Southwest Colorado, Norway, Canada. I'm not like, oh, there's one favorite place. I'm not that. The experience, to me, is more. I'm more qualitative than quantitative, and so that places create experiences, and so ice climbing creates a memorable experience with my friend. And I can think back about the day I spent with my friend and getting scared and then coming back, say like Manoa and I going climbing and then kind of working through that. And that memory is more prescient, more in my mind than the actual number or where that is. So
Right. That's beautiful.
Live in the moment.
That's right. That's right. I love it. So let's see. All right. So got that down. What about maybe, I know you're probably gonna shout out a hometown, but the most beautiful place you've been?
The most beautiful place I've been. Gosh, where I am today.
That's right.
It's always, and there's certain places downwind of a petroleum refinery isn't a great place, but we need petroleum to live. So we have to where is that? So, and to me, life is linear. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow's experience, but I'm not going to go back 30 years and kind of dwell in the past like, oh, that's where I wanted to be.
Totally, man. I have to say, this is you by far giving me some of the best answers I've heard out of these questions. So thanks, Conrad. I appreciate you thinking about them.
Oh, it's a reflection of you, Vincent. You're a great interviewer.
All right. Well, we're wrapping up. I ran through my questions, but in closing, is there anything you want to share with the audience, with me, with Outdoor Outreach, just moving forward?
Oh, enjoy the outdoors. Be there with your friends. If it doesn't feel comfortable at first, wait 15 minutes and then you'll get a little more comfortable. Take a snack along, know what mosquitoes are. And then an extra special shout out to Ryan Hudson. And thank you, Ryan, for doing all that you do in the outdoors and mentoring Vincent. And you're up in Alaska right now having fun. But Ryan, I'm an uncle to him kind of by Nepali style. So that's Nepali. It's like, oh, you're my aunt or your uncle or you're my brother or sister, depending on age. So you would refer to me as, oh, this is Uncle Conrad, even though we're not related. But people within that would know, okay, he could be, he's the same age as Vincent's parents. So
Right.
in that sense, and being able to stay close to Ryan over the years and watch him develop and grow, and it's been a real treat. So Ryan, you're a great ambassador to outdoor outreach.
Awesome. Thank you, Uncle Conrad. It's been great having you.
Yeah, it's the month of June. Let's get outdoors, share it with your friends. And remember, a smile takes nothing, but it gives everything.
Perfect. And cut.
Yeah.